Hello, and welcome to Dim Lights and Stiff Drinks. This is the podcast of dive bars of Seattle, where we get into the local lore, history, and stories of Seattle area dive bars, and dare I say, the internationally famous podcast of local Seattle drinking establishments and watering holes. But we're not just recording these awesome stories in some swanky podcast studio somewhere or somebody's dank basement. No.
Hell no.
We are live in the dive bars of Seattle, recording, coming to you from the actual establishments. And this time around, we are at the Streamline Tavern in Lower Queen Anne. I'm going to get into the details of that. But before we get in there, introduce the rest of the crew here. With us, as always, producer extraordinaire Bob Trombley on the keyboard.
Hey, now.
We got Lou Dog to my right. Stash
Indeed.
Panda to my left.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm going to go with Jay Dank.
Jay Dank.
Is
Nice.
that your nickname
Yeah,
of the week?
we're going to try that. We're going to try it. See
Jay Dank, I like
yeah,
it.
see how
I
it
like
fits.
it.
Okay.
See how it
It's
rolls.
got a beer flavor to it.
Yeah. I was going with. I was
Good,
toying with JPA. But you know,
Ooh, I like that.
But you know, these single hop, hazy, unfiltered IPAs are really hot right now. So we'll go with J Dank.
All right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
You ever been here, or when was the last time you were here?
Well, you know, I have not been here, and so first time for me. This is fantastic. I'm loving this place already. But you know, I don't want to jump the gun here. Why don't we start off by telling the listeners where we are? We're at the Streamline Tavern in beautiful, historic Lower Queen Anne. We're going to get into that and the location, where we at. But first, maybe Brad, you want to kick us off and tell us a little bit about the Streamline Tavern?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So let me drop some knowledge on
Opened
you
up
fools.
right after Prohibition, like 1937 bar?
A little later than that. This isn't one of those 1934 bars, but not pretty close, in the same neighborhood. So, our previous episode at the Shanty, we talked about how some bars / taverns have changed addresses over the years, but have kept the same name. Well, the Streamline is one of those.
Oh, that's right. Just
Yeah.
a couple blocks away, though,
Used to be
right?
a few blocks away, not too far from here. And we're going to get into that whole story. So it was originally located a few blocks from here, right next to the Uptown Movie Theater, which is now called the SIF Cinema Uptown. And the building for that location, including the movie theater, was built in the mid-1920s. And the space was originally used as a candy store for people who were about to go watch a movie next door. In 1933, as soon as beer could be sold again, the address became known as Bartlett's Fountain. And from what I could gather, it operated as kind of like a diner / soda fountain that also happened to serve beer. In 1936, the space was sold to local restaurant owner Andrew Neubacher, who continued to operate it as a diner until 1940, when he decided to renovate it into a tavern, and hence the Streamline Tavern was born. So it's been in operation as a tavern since 1940, so 82 years,
Nice.
which is pretty good, yeah. Now, we've covered plenty of bars that have been busted by the cops for things like liquor and gambling violations, but the Streamline is unique in that it has been the victim of a wide range of crimes over the years.
Not a perpetrator, you mean?
Yeah, it's not the perpetrator.
Oh.
It was the victim. So it's kind of like the reverse of most of the bars we've covered. The first incident happened in 1944 when one of the Streamline's bartenders arrived to work at 6:30 a.m. and surprised a thief who had broken in. When the thief saw the bartender, he held a gun up and told the bartender to stick him up, to which the bartender replied, "Go to hell." There was a brief stare down, and eventually the thief was the one who backed down and took off running.
I like this guy already.
Right? But I mean, bartenders were badasses back then. I mean, we've covered
Had
a
to
lot of
be.
them. Like
Yeah, I
today, if
guess he
someone
had
came
to
in with
be.
a gun, no one's going to tell him to go to hell. But back then, he was just like, "Go to hell." Didn't even flinch, stared him down, and the guy took off running. That's how they did things back then.
You better hope that gun's made of chocolate, because I'm going to make you eat it.
And by the way, it's 2-drink minimum.
In 1960, a thief hid somewhere in the tavern when it closed, waited until everyone had left, and then, according to the newspaper article about it, quote-unquote, figured out the combination of the safe, stealing almost $800 as well as some wine and cigars. Which sounds a little suspect to me, but 2 years
Diamonds
later...
and cigars?
Wine.
Wine.
Some wine and
okay.
cigars, yeah, and $800 from the safe that he just figured out the combination to. 2
Sounds
years.
like an inside job.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
check this out. So in '62, something very similar happened. 2 years later, thieves once again broke into the tavern after it closed. Once again, managed to figure out the safe. This time, stealing $350. And once again, they made off with a bunch of cartons of cigarettes and some booze. So, yeah, these two crimes to me definitely seem like an inside job. You know, like one of the
Oddly familiar.
bartenders wrote down the combo to the safe, gave it to one of his friends, was like, hey, okay, wait until after we close, until everyone's gone, here's the combination of the safe, and then you and I split the take. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, that's simple detective work. Who has the combination of the safe? Well,
Right.
me and the bartender.
Right.
Okay, was it you? Was it him?
Right.
He just sat in there long enough. Maybe he just figured it out.
No, that maybe like the old days where they got the stethoscope on the safe. And
Yeah, I doubt
But,
that.
but these guys are stealing cartons of cigarettes. We're not dealing with some sophisticated cat burglar, you know, with
Right.
Hung
Mission
around long enough to
Impossible.
realize what the bartender's birth date was and said, okay, let's try that. Oh, hey, what do you know?
The lesson to be learned here is you're not going to make it rich robbing the Streamline.
No, you might a little bundle.
I don't know, those cigars are pretty damn nice.
Okay, so I think we solved the case, right? Should we call the Seattle PD and let them know that we cracked the case?
Yep.
I think we
This
figured
is
it
a
out.
true crime podcast. That's where the real viewership is.
Yes.
Flash forward a couple decades. 1981, a man walked into the Streamline, held up a paper bag, said he had a gun and that this was a stick-up. This time, nobody told him to go to hell. Rather, they handed him over the cash, and he made off with $60 from the cash register. When he ran out the door, a police officer just happened to be walking by. Hey, what's going on? Caught the guy. The guy was apprehended immediately. Went to
Nice.
jail.
Wow.
Crime don't pay, baby.
Crime does not pay. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting how these different crimes played out over the decades. In 2009, the Seattle PI announced that it would cease to exist in newsprint form and would be an online newspaper instead.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
RIP indeed, yeah. As a result, over 160 PI workers ended up losing their jobs, including one of its reporters, Mike Lewis. Now, most of the reporters ended up scattering to other newspapers. Some took up entirely new careers, like public relations, things like that. Mike, however, took his severance pay and decided to purchase the Streamline, which just happened to be for sale at the time. Now, Mike had always had an affinity for dive bars and even had a column in the PI called Diving Lessons, which was a series of articles covering some of the city's different bars.
Hey,
Man.
he ripped us off.
Why didn't we use that name?
Right?
The diving board, diving lessons.
The OG dive bar guy.
That is good. Gotta hand it to him. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, that is a good name, Diving Lessons. He had previously covered the Streamline in one of these articles as it was a popular gathering spot for PI reporters after they got off work. So when he was let go from the PI, he saw that it was for sale, and it just kind of felt serendipitous to him. So he decided to go for it, using his severance pay to buy the place along with a few other business partners. As he reported to the local news at the time, quote unquote, I took my severance and bought myself a minimum wage job. By the way, so Mike's still the owner here.
Nice. That is the coolest way to retire, by the way.
Right? That's a good way of saying it. So he still owns the bar to this day, and he's still involved in the news. He currently co-hosts Cairo Nights, and he's also a writer for GeekWire. So he's still going strong in both. Right around the time that Mike took ownership of the Streamline, they began having this annual event known as the Queen Anne Trike for Beers. Did you guys ever hear of this?
Like a tricycle rally?
A tricycle race down Queen Anne Hill.
What?
Yeah, I never heard of it. I don't know how I missed this 'cause it
Tricycles
sounds awesome.
motorized?
No, human powered.
You don't have
Like
to.
old
So,
school
for
kids'
our-
trikes.
Yeah,
What could go
so
wrong
Listeners
there?
that don't live
You guys
here,
are gonna
Queen
love
Anne
this.
Hill is super steep. That tricycle would be going 60 miles an hour if you weren't keeping your feet on the ground to
I
slow
know.
it down.
Yeah, totally. So
Oh,
the
gotta
race,
love drinking sports.
So here was how the race worked. Contestants used tricycles to race from Targey's Tavern, which we were at recently, at the top of Queen Anne Hill, down to the bottom of the hill at the original Streamline location.
Oh my God.
This tricycles could be of any size, but obviously had to have 3 wheels.
Can you do a big wheel? That's 3
You
wheels,
could.
right?
3 wheels,
Yeah.
and it had to be human powered. That was the only criteria.
Could
3
be a green
wheels,
machine,
human
but it
powered.
could be a big
Ooh,
wheel.
green machine or big wheel. That's right. Yeah.
Which one did you guys like better back in the day? The green machine or the big wheel?
Green machine.
Green machine. I was a big wheel guy. I liked the
Really?
big wheel. The green machine was cool though. You had
Yeah,
those
you could
back
do the-
levers.
You could split the ass out and do.
You could do
roadies
spin
with
outs
it
better in
and
the
stuff.
green machine. Yeah, yeah.
Hoonigan before it was Hoonigan.
But how did we miss this? I mean, that sounds awesome. I would have loved to have seen that. But it went until
It sounds illegal as hell. Like,
well, the liability.
Attorneys
I'm sure
ruined
people
that.
got injured. They must
Yeah.
have. Because, Queen Anne's super steep. And you're going down in big wheels and tricycles.
And you're drinking?
Yeah, and you're probably drinking.
And they did it in January, just after a snow.
As if it wasn't dangerous enough. So
and there's
these-
this part where it kind of flattens out and then goes down again. You could catch some
Catch-
serious
oh,
air.
yeah.
They probably did. We should go on YouTube. I bet there's some videos of it on YouTube. There's got to be.
Oh,
We gotta Google that shit. So these races lasted until 2013, which was the last year that the Streamline inhabited its
Whoa.
original location.
I thought you were going to say 1975 when that guy died. When it stopped, it went all the way to 2013.
It started right around when he bought the bar. So I think
goddamn pandemic put an end to
Yeah.
tricycle racing. That's what it was.
Yeah, so it sounds like it went from 2008 to 2013. So it had a good run.
That's pretty cool.
In 2014, it was announced that the property the Streamline sat on had been sold to the South Korean government, who wanted to use the space to build the South Korean consulate building, which
so
they did.
this historic bar got booted because
South
South
Korean
Korea
The
bought
place and put up a consulate building. Yeah.
Here's a part of the podcast where Jeremy goes on a rant about protectionism and United States.
It's just weird. This is an interesting turn of events.
Interesting
The
series
effects of
events,
globalism, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. But I mean, one of the reasons I was bringing it up is that that's not an uncommon story. Unfortunately, in Seattle, foreign interests buying very hot properties, including properties in Seattle. We're not immune to that, right? So, that unfortunately, it's not that uncommon a story
No.
to have
Fairly common.
No, it happens.
outside of the U.S. either
Yeah.
corporate or national or whatever interests
Right.
kind of purchasing property and in this case, unfortunately, kicking out a historic. But we have a
But
happy
there's a
ending
happy
to the story,
ending
so
to it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
No, it's okay. It's okay. There's a happy ending to this. So this prompted some urgent hustling to find a new space. And in the end, they decided to move a few blocks over to where we are sitting here today on Roy Street. Now, as far as the move itself, they literally moved everything from the original space to its new location. So they completely dismantled the old Streamline, carefully moved it over here, and basically recreated the original Streamline Tavern
And
here in the space that we're sitting at today.
I like to give a shout out to Big Jamie. He's a regular here. He did all
Is
the
he
work
like a
himself.
cousin of yours or something?
He's a
What the-
friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right,
So
that's
shout
cool.
out to Jamie.
That's
So, yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
that they did that.
It
Transferred
looks
everything
great.
over. Didn't even change the urinal kicks. Yeah. Kept
That's
it
right.
all.
We're talking the bar and the
Vintage.
these boots
The bar,
and
the outdoor
everything was-
sign, the Streamline sign that sits outside, that was the original one at the original location. All the booths here. And especially, my favorite is the wraparound bar right here. So as far as I know, that's the original wraparound bar from when it opened as a tavern in 1940. It may have even gone back to its diner roots before that, but I know for sure at least it's from 1940. And I mean, that's a classic. We've talked about U-shaped bars, but this wraparound bar is great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds us very much of 2 episodes ago. Targis had that kind
Yeah.
of U-shaped
The
bar. And we
U-shaped
talked
one.
about kind of the uniqueness of
Daryl's.
very popular for a dive bar, but not that popular in Seattle.
Yeah.
Targis, like I said, Daryl's and the Streamline here, very, very reminiscent of those 2 establishments.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, very
reflection
cool.
of how old this bar is, because you don't see that anymore.
What's kind of fun about that too is it really encourages interaction between the patrons and the staff, right? Because look who's in the middle of everything there, bartender,
Right.
Right.
Holding
On both
court.
sides, right in
That's
the
right.
middle.
That's right. And you've got 360, almost 360 degree of patrons, other than a little entrance there on the side, and you're
Theater in the
interacting.
round.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a Who concert.
Which is funny. That's the last time I was here.
A Who concert?
Truthfully. Yeah, because this is right next to Seattle Center, so it's kind of my place of choice to pre-funk if I'm going to a Seattle Center event. And the Who
What
played
was it? The
here.
Who's final
Yes,
tour?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
No,
that
really,
one.
this time it's the final
Yeah.
tour. We made it this
3
time.
finals, not for him.
This is where I come for pre-funk before Seattle Opera.
And that was like 2017.
Get a nice
and
glass
so,
of red, maybe a Cab Sauv.
How was the Who? When you saw 'em? Was
yeah,
it just?
my
I assume
wife
it was just.
loves the Who, and so
Okay.
she was like, "We got to go. We got to get floor tickets." And the floor sold out pretty quick. And then a couple days later, she's like, "Oh, I found some tickets on Craigslist from a guy in Denver who can't go." And I was like,
Floor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, I don't want to make money. I'll just sell them to you for face value." And I thought, why does a guy in Denver buy a ticket for a Who show that's in 6 months, and then 2 days later finds out he can't go.
Scam.
A wedding came up, and so it turned out we weren't the only ones he sold them to. When we got to the door, the lady went, bleep. Oh, I'm sorry, these have already been scanned.
No.
Yeah. So I was quick on my feet, though. I went, we just came out to smoke before the show, have a cigarette. She's like, oh, she never scanned your ticket coming out? I was like, no one said anything. I just walked out. She was like, oh, well, next time.
Wow.
So we were in.
There
and
you
Barb was
go,
like, holy
Lou.
crap, what do we do now?
Way to be on your feet. I wouldn't have thought of that. I
Since
would
it
have been
was
like, oh, yeah. What can you do for us? We got scammed.
But because it was floor, there
Yeah.
it wasn't seats, so we could get on the floor and we were okay.
So was Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey the only two original members?
Yes.
saw him?
Pete's son played guitar also. Like the stuff Pete is too old to play anymore. He was
Okay.
back there backing him up. But yeah, it was tired. It was like a
Yeah.
tribute to the Who show,
right,
and
right.
it was greatest hits and just pictures of them from the years up above.
Yeah.
It was pretty weak. But it was a Who, so
Yeah.
Roger
We're getting
still sounds
way
great.
the fuck off topic.
Well, yeah.
No, that's a great
We got
story.
time to kill.
As we tend to do sometimes.
History of the Streamline.
That's right.
That's right.
right.
It's all
That's right.
related. It's all
That's right.
interconnected. So overall, the historic Streamline Tavern remains a dark, boozy watering hole here on Queen Anne. There's not a lot of frills inside the bar, but it certainly has all the ingredients of a classic dive. The pool table in the back, a couple good pinballs, some cool beer signs, and of course, the dim lights and stiff drinks. And with that, I hand things over to Jeremy so we can discuss what you're drinking.
Well, first, that's a great segue. You mentioned dim lights and stiff drinks. I think one of the, we're going to get into the ambiance here, right? Like where we are, why it is that we're here, what makes this a pretty kick-ass dive bar to begin with, right? And I think you kind of nailed it, Brad. The dim lights and stiff drinks really applies paramount to this place. And one of the reasons I mentioned that is we are here on a Sunday afternoon where it is still sunny outside.
Day
dim
drinking
in here.
episode for dim lights.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but this place has got plenty of windows. It's actually pretty nice and bright and airy in here, right? So you kind of have to use your imagination to think of, okay, there are definitely dim lights and stiff drinks in this joint, and it's even despite the goddamn sunshine pouring through the windows.
You can still see the red.
We've got the dim lights and stiff drinks
that's
vibe
cool.
going on here for sure, right?
Absolutely,
Black
yeah.
as death ceiling with a couple of little like old school can lights. There's some incandescent. What do they call those lights?
Oh, like a desk lamp almost.
Well,
Yeah.
and then those
Yeah.
lamps that they put in front of like artwork and stuff to like
Right,
illuminate like your sofa-sized painting or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
There's like a couple of those hanging on the wall and shit, and then like you said, some pretty epic beer signs across the place.
You
There's
got the
some
string of Christmas lights. That's
obligatory
another-
Christmas lights
Yeah.
for sure, right?
The painting full of crushed shit beer cans.
Hand painted
Old
original
English
artwork
mix
of
PBR.
Pabst PBR crushed beer cans, which is pretty fucking cool.
Like a
I'm gonna-
still life.
I'm gonna ask them if I can buy that painting
Yeah,
later.
Schmidt's Old English, PBR, Thwarted Light.
Take a pic.
Miller is on there. That's great.
Yeah, there's some awesome artwork in there. If you go around the corner right by the pinball machine there's one of those old, remember those old paintings of dogs playing
That's what
poker?
I was thinking too.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is the new school version. It's the dogs playing pool.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
fancy one that came after the dogs playing poker. Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
great
Right
stuff.
next to the Mars Attacks pinball machine. With
Well, the
little
pinballs are
Hardware
awesome.
aliens on
Oh,
it.
Mars
my gosh,
Attacks,
yeah.
which is awesome, and of course the Addams Family,
Yeah,
which
they
we've
got
also
this
talked
Addams
about
Family
previously.
bar.
Yeah.
The
Big
Mars
one.
Attacks pinball, not to be confused with Mars Attacks movie pinball machine, which there is of one that's pretty cool too. This is the old school, I think from the 70s.
Yeah.
Mars, the Martians Attack or whatever.
Which I think is
before
what
the
they
movie.
based the movie on.
Totally,
right?
yeah, totally,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Oh,
pretty,
no
pretty cool, old
kidding.
school, old school pinball machine.
Huh. Nice.
And they also have down there, it's called Skill Shot. It's kind of like, it's the hockey version of foosball.
Oh yeah,
Like
Yeah,
that, where you
yeah.
slide the players and you can spin it and make
got the little
shots.
plastic dome over there, so you don't get
Yeah.
like a ball in the eye.
Yeah, you don't see that
Yeah.
anymore. Rare do you see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool, yeah.
Funky.
And we have another actual jukebox, a CD jukebox. It's currently out
Yeah.
of order, but we have one here, which I think is our second jukebox sighting.
Yeah, after the shanty.
You know,
That and
yeah,
the
after the
shanty.
shanty.
Yeah.
Also out of order too. which sucks.
Was the shanties out of order?
Yeah, it was.
Maybe we should get into the jukebox repair business. Maybe that'd be a nice little side hustle
there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So you were talking about what you drinking?
Yeah.
All right. So what you drinking? So we'll get into a little bit of the tap list, right? We always talk about like the selection of beer and how that relates to the history of a dive bar, like what makes a dive bar. And like a Seattle area dive bar's always got to have like the cool selection of micro brews and local craft brews on tap. Streamline, no exception. Got a smaller than normal tap list, which is unusual. I would kind of consider the selection, the bar, like to describe that full 360 kind of donut-style bar in the middle of the establishment there, and a small selection of handles, which is exactly what I would expect from like a dive bar, right? And a lot of the places we've been to lately had like much larger than you'd expect selection of draft beers for a dive bar, which is kind of like a Seattle phenomenon, right? So this is kind of like old school, classic, stereotypical kind of selection of beers.
What, 5, 6 choices?
Yeah, you don't have to think about it too hard.
We are in Seattle, goddammit. So there's Pabst on draft, which is great dive bar staple, right? But everything else is fantastic craft brewery on tap, and of course a nice craft hard cider, which is definitely another kind of sign of the times, sign of the Seattle area. I am drinking Urban Family Brewery Stout, which is pretty cool. You don't often see a stout on draft, especially at a dive bar. Don't often see some Urban Family Brewery, which is a pretty small little local brewery here, on draft. So grabbed one of those. Really loving it.
Are they local Seattle brewery?
Yeah, they're up in Ballard, I want to say. I'll double check. I'll look and get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking the Boundary Bay, which is of course from Bellingham, and I'm drinking their classic IPA, and it's really good. With IPAs, to me, a good IPA has to be well balanced. It can't be too hoppy. It has to be just kind of balanced out. Because if it's too hoppy, I don't know, it just throws the flavor off for me anyway. And this one is very well balanced, so I give it a thumbs up.
All right. Nice. How about you, Lou?
Ditto. I got the Boundary Bay also, and it's a good day drinking beer because it's smooth. It's kind of got a light taste with a little bitter aftertaste, but it's still got a kick. We'll get you there in a hurry.
Would you call it a session beer?
No,
because a little higher ABV, right?
Yeah,
probably.
This is probably like in the 6 or 7 range, I would say.
Based on the buzz I'm feeling after drinking one.
Yeah.
Session, if that session includes getting fucked. Okay. Yeah.
Session is subjective, right?
Also, let all our listeners know if you're coming here, this is one of the remaining cash-only bars. Stop by your bank ATM and stock up before coming down.
Well,
but if you forget, there's an ATM machine
now
at the
you
back.
tell us, Lou.
Kinda. So you're kind of right. Cash only for the food. They have an attached full kitchen with some pretty good pub grub. You got a kielbasa or something?
Yeah, I got a Polish and some fries.
Yeah, so it's good stuff, right? And some interesting stuff on the menu. That is cash only, little ATM, like you said. The bar will, if you wink, wink, nudge, nudge a bartender, they'll take your card.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Oh, okay. That's what she said when I went, I think I'll
But
get
if she
some
doesn't-
food, too. And she went, it's cash only. And I thought that meant...
Mm-hmm.
Man, everything.
Which seems weird.
If she doesn't like you walk in the door, she's never seen you before, she doesn't like the look in your eyes,
Well,
she'll be like,
some of them
cash
have
only
been
punk.
cash only.
Like the zoo?
East Lake Zoo, it was
right.
cash only,
Yeah.
so...
And as far as what you're drinking, I'd say Rainier beer and the Streamline kind of go hand in hand. Tall can to Rainier.
Ooh.
'Cause
Yeah,
I've
tall
sat
boys.
at this bar myself and drank more than I can remember.
Do they, Streamline for years and years and years had $2 tall boy specials. Do
That's
they still
right.
do that?
I think they still do that.
That was
God,
that's
got to be
what I would do,
be
I
the
think.
bargain of the
Yeah.
city.
$2 for
Yeah,
a tall
$2
can of Rain Dog.
And I think they also have some kind of special where you get a tall boy and like a shot of Jameson
I think
or
you're
something.
right.
And
Yeah.
I don't remember how much
Like
that
$5
is. but-
or something.
A little
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah. Shh, don't let these secrets get out.
Working class bar.
Yeah,
it's
working
good.
smoking
Yeah.
deals.
This is a working
They're
man's
still
bar.
around. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not all high ceilings and avocado toast.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
This place is definitely
Craft
not an avocado
cocktails.
toast
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
$23 for a martini? Yeah, but it's got Godiva chocolate in it.
You think Helmer ever came down here got off at the top of Queen Anne and came
Oh,
down
I'm sure
here
he
for
did.
a beverage? Yeah.
I'm sure he made some appearances in here from time to time. Probably sat by himself,
Naturally. To keep up with appearances.
we're just jumping in, going episode to episode, you might have to explain who Helmer is.
Well, Helmer was a notorious bartender at Targy's Tavern, which we covered a couple episodes back.
Just around the
Right
corner
up the
and
hill.
the street. Yep.
Yeah, the starting point for that tricycle race. And he was a force to be reckoned with, as we covered in that episode. He preferred to drink alone, would often close the bar early so he could drink alone. If someone got in his way, he wasn't afraid to use the fisticuffs, get him in a headlock, and escort him to the front door. Yeah, short fuse, yeah.
Well, we talked about how Streamline is in some pretty historic neighborhood. We are in Lower Queen Anne. You could almost see Seattle Center if it weren't for some shitty strip mall buildings that were in our way. The original location, you could definitely see Seattle Center probably from the back or front of the bar.
Just a hop, skip, and jump away.
Yes.
But before we get into where we're at, and I'm looking at you, Lou, I think we need another round.
Need a refresh.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Satan's Pilgrims, take us out. We're going to get another beer and talk to you in a minute.
All right, back in for round two. I got a refill, and what was interesting is all three of us changed beers. I would argue potentially biased by what we talked about the first half of the episode.
You think so?
Yeah, totally.
How so?
Yeah, well, you said you were impressed with the IPA you had, and that got me thinking, IPA, that
Okay.
sounds good. I got yours, right? Brad, you were thinking, walk us through the
Well,
thought process there.
Kind of to echo what you're saying, so you guys were talking about session beers, and I was like, yeah, I should probably downshift a little bit. I'm not a big day drinker, so I got a Manny's Pale.
Can't go wrong.
Yep.
Although not necessarily lower in ABV.
You don't think so?
Maybe a tiny bit.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But you talk yourself into that.
I
All
talked
right,
myself
cool,
into
all right.
it. It sounded good to me. It sounded good on paper.
How about you, Lou?
Me and Brad are lockstep tonight. We both got the same IPA the first time, and I, too, wanted to downshift because they drinking.
Yep.
You know,
And what'd you get?
I got a Pilsner,
Okay.
keeping it safe. That's probably
Keeping it real.
5.
Yeah. Pilsners are usually a
There you
pretty
go.
safe bet.
All right, nice. What were we? Oh, we were going to talk about, just before we took a break there, where we at. And we talked a little bit about we are Lower Queen Anne. But Lou, you want to give us a little deeper about where we at?
Well, this building is something pretty cool. It's basically an old Victorian. It was probably someone's giant house in one day, and now it's got 4 apartments and this bar. Yeah, this building, I'm sure, is 100 years old also. But
Oh,
where
yeah.
we're at Lower Queen Anne, Target's is on the top where the
Yep.
houses are. This is Seattle Center neighborhood. And is there a cooler place in the country? I can't think of a city that has this kind of setup. It's 75 acres, and every tourist attraction in Seattle is in one place, except for Pike Market.
Yeah.
And Bob's podcast. Yeah, so let's play a game. It's called I Don't Know Shit About Seattle Center.
Oh no!
So we'll keep it simple. Satans, you have a little theme song for this game show? We're back. Okay, so we're going to go around. Each of you guys name an attraction in the Seattle Center until someone can't figure one out. Until someone can't figure
Wait,
it
it
out.
has to be at the Seattle Center?
Yeah, part of the Seattle Center.
An attraction?
Yeah, like the Space Needle. for
Oh, okay.
instance.
Okay.
What else is in the Seattle Center?
Dale Chihuly Museum.
Chihuly Garden and Glass. Yes, beautiful.
It's no longer there, but I used to get my orange Julius's there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember the Orange Julius days.
that's
Wait, what?
You can't pick every single food stall that used to be there. That's just
I went right to one. Yeah, I singled her out.
Center House. is what
I
you're
singled
talking
it out
about.
like Jenny McCarthy.
The Center
Okay,
House.
Center House. All right, Brad.
The IMAX.
IMAX, Boeing IMAX. Good
Which is
call.
part of the Science Museum.
Pacific Science Center.
Well, I was actually just there for the Lego exhibit they had with my nephew, and it was kind of cool. And they had a bunch of life-size, like a Space Needle that was like 20 feet tall. All
You went
these
to
things.
that?
Yeah, I went to that with my nephew. It was awesome.
I saw the pictures of it and was thinking of going. It looked cool.
It was freaking awesome.
And that's in Fisher Pavilion.
Yep, the new one they just built, I believe.
Yep,
Yeah.
Brad.
Well, it's no longer there, but it definitely still counts, and that was the Fun Forest amusement park with all the rides.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that like
And the
go-karts
arcade.
and a tiny little
Yeah,
roller
arcade.
coaster?
They had a really
an
awesome arcade.
Yeah.
They had a real arcade.
Nice.
Laser tag and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fun center. All right, Brad or Jeremy. Sorry.
Well, I would say, I think one thing the Seattle Center has always been famous for is the cool shit that is just right outside the Seattle Center. Right? You got some pretty cool restaurants and bars that are like a block or two from Seattle Center. So you do all the crazy shit you want when you spend a day in Seattle Center, and then head to a pretty kick-ass restaurant or bar or.
Yeah, you can come here as a tourist and spend your whole weekend just doing stuff at Seattle Center. Easy. All right, Jeremy, what's next? In the Seattle Center.
Are you tapping out already?
Come on.
What else? What kind of shit going on? Is it
There's
Opera House?
Okay.
Okay, well, that counts.
Yeah, all right.
Beat the buzzer.
Okay, that's still there. All right, Opera House.
Opera House. Yes, you were talking about McCaw Hall, which hosts the Northwest Ballet and the Opera House. All right.
What about the fountain?
The fountain.
Oh, that was going to be my answer.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Installed in the Seattle World's Fair and then remodeled in 2008 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. It's no bullshit fountain.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right, Brad.
Oh, fuck. I'm drawing a blank, man. I mean, I think we covered.
There's so much more. Look at my fucking jersey.
Does that count as the Seattle Center?
That's Seattle Center.
Oh, okay. So the sports arena.
Key Arena.
Climate Pledge Arena,
Climate Pledge
recently
Arena.
created to be the home of the Seattle Kraken, and a place where you could go see a band that could sell 20,000 seats, like Foo
When it
Fighters.
was the Key
Play
Arena.
there. Key Arena before
That's
that,
right.
yes.
Okay.
And then the Coliseum before that.
All right. Jeremy, keep it going.
Oh, man.
Mopop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Museum
That
of
is
Pop
kinda dumb.
Culture. And
Which was what before that?
There's that was constructed just for it. I can't remember
But
what
what
they
was
tore
it
down.
called before Mopop? It was
EMP, Experience
yeah.
Music
Yeah.
Project.
Yeah.
So yeah, and not only do those things all there, here's how much stuff slipped your mind. The Children's Museum is in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, in the middle of the center house. There's 5 theaters in there. There's Seattle Children's Theater, Cornish Playhouse, the
Rep.
Center Theater, Seattle Rep, Intiman Theater. There's a school in there, a high school called the Center School. And yeah, that's all of it.
That's a lot of shit in one little tight little
Yeah.
area.
Yep.
That's a lot of stuff.
And you could go down, hop on the monorail at Westlake, and it'll take you
Monorail.
right there.
The monorail,
That
yeah.
counts
Also,
too.
World's Fair.
That does count.
Thanks for the World's Fair.
Yeah, that was from the World's Fair.
Yeah, I read some cool stuff about the history of it. And Brad, you're our resident historian. Does the name saloon keeper James Osborne mean anything
That
to
does
you?
not ring a bell, actually.
In 1881, I'll just read it. Saloon keeper James Osborne bequeaths $20,000 as seed money to build a civic hall for social and cultural gatherings on the site that would become Seattle Center. His gift is eventually matched by public funding and nicknamed the house that Suds built.
Okay.
So Seattle Center was built
on
first with beer
on
money.
booze money.
Thanks
That's
to
right.
Hops.
And then they started adding buildings. So in 1927, McCaw Hall, Opera House was the first one, and then Civic Arena, and then the Armory, and then Memorial Stadium, and then 1965, Seattle World's Fair.
Now, I didn't know about that particular one, but it's funny how much of Seattle was built on money from Vice. You know,
Right?
prostitution or booze or, you know.
Yeah. All of Seattle.
Yeah, pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one cool thing about
Here we go. Speaking of Memorial Stadium,
Yeah?
what's the best show you've ever seen there? Maybe like a Bumbershoot concert show
yeah,
or any
Bumbershoot
other?
concerts. I saw REM there. I
There
saw
we
the
go.
Ramones there. I saw
There-
De La Soul there. I
See
saw
a lot of-
Tribe Called Quest there.
Did you
10,000
Did you
Maniacs.
see Wu-Tang when they were there? I saw that
Did
one.
not see Wu-Tang.
And what about when all the Marley Brothers came? There was like 5 Marley
yeah,
Brothers.
I saw that one.
That was cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
I
That was
saw
a good
Beck
one.
on the Odelay tour. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some good shows over the years, too.
Yeah.
I remember sneaking into Bumbershoot in the late 80s.
When you could sneak
When
in.
you could sneak in. And we had our own little method of doing so. And we went in, and I remember seeing Soundgarden and God, who else was there that day? I know there was some reggae. Hitchcock was there. God, it was a good show.
Alfred Hitchcock, great director.
No, excuse me, Robin Hitchcock, the singer-songwriter.
So yeah, your fries are getting cold, Jay.
Yeah.
All right.
In the mix. There you go. Thank you.
I like that.
We got a
Patty's got a
second
custom
round
make.
of
Thank you,
fries
Patty.
that came over here. So what we were talking about, Orange Julius, there's in the center of it, there's a food court, basically. That's what the building is. It's called the Armory, and it actually was an armory.
Now, has anyone been in the food court in the last couple of years? I mean, did it survive COVID? Is it still going?
It has.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has
It's still,
okay.
it's still
It
cranking.
has like a blue water grill. You can get, actually, you know what's I like there? They have Aussie meat pies, Australian meat
Yeah,
pies.
that's
Those
right.
are actually
Really?
delicious.
There's
yeah.
a mod pizza there.
Yeah,
There's a
like a little cantina. You can go get some drinks.
yeah, totally. The okay, let me flip through my notes here. Where is it? Oh, the Armory was actually an armory before it was a food court.
That's right.
It was built by the Washington National Guard for training and storage of tanks and artillery. So there's a huge basement in that thing that could fit tanks. And there was a swimming pool there. It's massive, and it's still there. In fact, the shooting range, you can still see it if you go down there. Now it's just storage.
Somehow I've never been down there before.
No, the public's not allowed anymore.
But have you been down there?
No.
Okay.
But that'd be good research for a...
Well, because one of your
Little mini
kids went to
podcast.
school there, right?
Yeah, he's going to high school at the
I thought
center
maybe
school
through
there.
that you were able to like sneak downstairs and catch a glimpse.
Oh, that's good. If I got an in, just ask someone if I can get a key. You guys got
Yeah.
some
We're
the
gonna
slide
do-
projector down there? I can help you go get it.
Store it. It'll be fine.
And then at the World's Fair, 1964, 1962, they converted it into food circus, which was basically 56 stalls selling food and also selling, merch. And
Well, and you know who else had their own spot down there in the old food court was the Colacorchia brothers.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who we talked about in the shanty. Basically Seattle's version of the mob.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had I don't know if it was a beer stand or a food stand, but he had a stand down there. It was very
He was
controversial.
getting a piece of the pie.
Yeah, I think it was Frank Colacorchio.
The old
a
man.
little front to launder some of his money.
That's what people were saying back then.
Right. That makes sense.
What about the Bubbleator in the World's Fair? Or was it the Bubbleator?
Yeah, that was
was the
the
Bubbleator, yeah.
elevator.
That was the elevator.
Bubble
we used.
elevator.
It's now down
It's-
in somebody has it in their yard in Des Moines and
that
uses
where
it
it
as,
is?
as a greenhouse.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can actually go down there and see it.
And then I believe John F. Kennedy made a phone call to the World's Fair
That's correct,
as
yeah.
well. And that was kind of a big ordeal.
Yep.
Like a live phone call or something.
They filmed a movie there during it. Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
It happened at the World's Fair.
Really? Okay.
My mom saw it. She saw
I-
it filmed. She was here living in Seattle at the time. And
I bet Pat
Yeah.
O'Day
Down there
was
and was
probably
able to
involved in that somehow. I don't know if he was managed, because he managed Elvis for a couple years towards the end there. He was managing his tours. Pat
Oh, wow.
O'Day. Yeah.
Nice.
By the way, they got it. Have you guys seen the trailer for the Elvis movie that's coming out?
No.
Yeah, they're doing an Elvis biopic.
What's the guy?
The actor?
What's his name? No, the director.
Oh, Boz
Baz
Luhrmann.
Luhrmann, yeah.
Like
He's-
in Moulin Rouge.
exactly. He's doing
Right.
it Elvis Presley style. I'm
Yeah,
kind of psyched to see
it. looks really over the top campy. Could be fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they have Fat Elvis. I don't think it's the whole career. They just pick a certain time.
Pills and whiskey Elvis?
Yeah. Fat dying on the toilet Elvis. Doesn't do that whole thing, which is probably good.
The fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches,
Yeah.
Elvis.
Shooting the TV when Wayne Newton came on.
What was his crew? The Memphis
Memphis Mafia.
Memphis Mafia? Yeah.
Yeah, all his bodyguards and guys that would get him drugs.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, when was the last time you came to the Seattle Center? What'd you do?
Man, it's probably been 5+ years.
No shit.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I came down probably like 5 or 6 years ago. They had the world's biggest water balloon fight. And we got hammered and went down there and partook in
That
this
has to be on
water
YouTube
balloon
somewhere.
fight. It was so fun.
That was pretty fucking fun.
Yeah. They just filled up these swimming pools, these little kids' plastic swimming pools, full of water balloons, and they had them stationed out everywhere. And so you just picked your one that you were going to station yourself by, and then once they sounded the whistle, it was on. That was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that was the last time I was down there.
Well, a couple years after that, they also did world's largest tomato fight.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Did you go to that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you?
Oh, man, that was a fucking clusterfuck.
Sounds like a messy affair.
Oh, my God, it was...
They had like a
Crazy
stand-up
fun.
comedian bombing, and everyone threw their tomatoes at him. Is that how it worked?
No, it was like the balloon thing. They were just like, 1, 2, 3, go. And you just grabbed tomatoes and just went crazy.
Were you pelted? Were you just...
Oh, it
completely
was.
sauced?
It was.
Yeah.
Everybody was. Yeah, of course.
Hopefully
yeah.
they were kind of soft
big,
and cushy.
big
so
beer
they,
garden outside of that event.
That's fun.
Oh yeah. So
I took a
Bob?
learning how to screen print class at the Vera Project maybe a few years ago.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That
shout out
could
to the
be-
Vera Project. Wasn't that formerly Sit and Spin back in the day? Is that what it used to be?
I can't
Or-
remember. Oh, and KEXP is down here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
That's true.
Yeah, you could have said that as another building. There's a
Definitely.
convention halls.
There's a shitload of stuff down there.
Yeah, there's a shitload of
It's
stuff.
cool going there actually on Saturday mornings. Go get a coffee, and then from 9 to 12, DJ Kids Hops does Positive Vibrations, and you can go see him live in the booth and then have a little coffee and kind of just on a nice Saturday morning, chill out, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came down here for the. I went to Mopop. They have the Disney exhibit. It's called Heroes and Villains, and it's original costumes from the Disney movies, and it's the ones actually worn by the actors, and it's killer. There's
Well, like what
a ton
Disney
of them.
movies?
Yeah.
Like,
For example.
they've got like Julie Andrews Mary Poppins and the new Mary
So
Poppins.
the classic, like 60s and 70s
Yeah,
Disney?
they have that
okay.
stuff, and a bunch of different Cinderella dresses. The Cinderella dress from the 2016 one, the most recent one,
Yeah.
is there, and that's incredible. Someone with Angelina Jolie is
Tomb Raider?
Was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, was that Disney?
Tomb Raider. Maleficent.
Maleficent, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one's there. The wolf and Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. There's a couple of different ones of those there.
so this is a tour of just the costumes.
Yeah,
Correct?
They're all on display, and they also have the original artwork for them. I actually posted it on the Facebook page. So this isn't a dive bar, but it'll give you an example of the setup. It's really amazing.
Huh.
And there's also a hip-hop exhibit there, kind of like 50 years of hip-hop in this huge monster room. It kind of follows it timeline-wise. All these great pictures you've never seen of everybody. Do it.
The hip hop totally into the Disney costumes.
Yeah, you
not
didn't-
really my bag.
You didn't really sell us on that, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, these
But yeah, I'm with Jeremy. The
giant
hip hop
works
sounds
of
awesome.
art.
Did they have Macklemore's jacket from the thrift shop video?
There was a Macklemore and Ryan Lewis picture up there, but yeah, none of the stuff, just pictures. I don't know. There's Pearl Jam exhibit there. You guys
Yeah.
into Pearl Jam enough to see a Pearl Jam exhibit? Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go. And as always, Science Fiction Museum is in there, and the horror show exhibit is in there. They have a full-size alien.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Well,
do.
the guy that I co-authored the book, the Roadhouse book with, Peter Bleck, he used to be basically the director, the head curator there when it first opened as EMP.
Oh,
And
nice.
When Paul Allen was still alive and he was involved in it. And he, in fact, acquired a lot of their early stuff, a lot of their early display items. He's the one that acquired it, including, I believe, I think he got both Kurt Cobain's guitar and Prince's guitar. Kind of wrote a book about it, about the whole process of trying to find those artifacts, what he had to go through, which was kind of cool. So,
Nice.
yeah.
I guess you just call Courtney Love, right? If you wonder where the guitar's at.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him about how he did that.
All right, gentlemen.
Okay.
I think we're about ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, it feels like we're getting towards the end. Let's knock
For
it on the
sure.
head.
For sure. All right. Well, this has been Dim Lights and Stiff Drinks coming to you from the Streamline Tavern in Lower Queen Anne. Thanks for listening. Check it out. Download, subscribe, like, all that crap. Check us out on social. Appreciate you listening.
Thank you, everybody. And our next episode after this one will be our season 1 finale. And we're going to be recording
That's right.
at Slim's Last Chance Saloon. So keep an
Getting
ear
some
out for
chili?
that. Getting some chili.
Watching some
Listening
kick-ass
some-
music.
Yeah.
Exact length of that episode is TBD, but
That's right.
there'll be something.
There'll be something. But until then, peace out.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Cheers.
for listening.